Hello everyone, welcome to the Alrazta channel. Here I will share spoilers for SwallowedStar episode 173. Remember, this is based on the novel, so it won't be 100% identical to the Donghua version. Alright, without further ado, let's dive right into the plot. The battle between Luofeng and Tunshi was a fierce fight that tested the abilities and strategies of both fighters. Tunshi relied on two high-level plant creatures, the Shaluo flower and the cloud metal vine, both at the 9th level of the World Master rank, which then launched a devastating attack. The power of these plants was extraordinary, capable of easily destroying most opponents. Maintaining such powerful creatures required an enormous amount of resources, surpassing even the average wealth of an immortal general. Luofeng, realizing the strength of his opponent, knew he couldn't rely on physical strength alone. He utilized the Yunmo ship, which he had significantly upgraded. This upgrade, which cost more than 100,000 Hunyuan, gave the ship extraordinary cutting power, even capable of easily slicing through asteroids. The speed and cutting power of the Yunmo ship became the key to Luofeng's victory. The battle began with a fierce attack from Tunshi's Shaluo flowers and cloud metal vine. However, Luofeng deftly avoided the direct attack. He used a clever strategy, utilizing his cloud contact vine to temporarily hold off Tunshi's attack. This gave the Yunmo ship a chance to close in and launch a precision attack. At high speed, the Yunmo ship rammed into the Shaluo flower and cloud metal vine. The ship's cutting power easily pierced through the defenses of the plants. The Shaluo flower and cloud metal vine, despite their strength, were unable to withstand such a fast and precise attack. They were destroyed in an instant. With the destruction of his cloud vine, Tunshi lost his main source of power and became vulnerable. Luofeng took advantage of this opportunity to launch his final attack, ending the battle with Tunshi's death. This battle demonstrated not only Luofeng's combat prowess, but also his intelligence in utilizing technology and strategy to defeat an opponent who was far stronger physically. Well, even though he was buffed with those two plants, guys. After the battle, Luofeng checked Tunshi's items. He found several space rings and world rings, but there were no treasures that caught Luofeng's interest. Luofeng only found ordinary items worth less than 20 Hunyuan. This disappointment made Luofeng contemplate his future defense strategy. After defeating Tunshi and looting his seemingly ordinary treasures, Luofeng returned to the Yunmo ship. Although he had thoroughly examined Tunshi's world ring, he felt that something had been overlooked. Luofeng then tried to enter his inner world, with his senses much stronger. There, he found a small, simple-looking silver card. At first glance, the card seemed ordinary, but within his inner world, it emitted a different aura. With a touch of his energy, Luofeng realized that the card was not an ordinary card, but one that contained a miniature world within it. Carefully, Luofeng penetrated the card's defenses, passing through the remnants of Tunshi's memories still clinging to it. Then Luofeng entered a small world measuring only about 100 square kilometers. Inside, Luofeng saw a landscape resembling this world, but simpler, with flat land stretching out and a river flowing through the center. The river had a diameter of about 10 kilometers and appeared extraordinary, emitting a piercingly cold aura. Feeling that something was wrong, Luofeng contacted Babata through his AI network spread across various locations, including the Yunmo ship. Babata responded immediately. Luofeng asked Babata to scan the river. Even though Luofeng was in energy form, he could still feel the piercing cold coming from the river. Babata, with his encyclopedic knowledge, immediately recognized the river as Luoka holy water, a legendary and extremely valuable liquid. Babata remembered an auction where 1 cubic kilometer of Luoka holy water had been sold for 8.9 million Hunyuan. Luofeng was stunned. He immediately scanned the river and found that it was much larger than he had expected. The river varied in length and width, with the largest size being 16.2 kilometers and the smallest 10.3 kilometers, and a depth of 3.2 kilometers. The total volume of Luok's holy water in the river reached 712 cubic kilometers. With the previous auction price, the total value of the Luoka holy water in the river reached a fantastic figure, 6.3 billion Hun Yuan. This figure far exceeded the wealth Luofeng had ever possessed. He compared it to his previous wealth, which was mostly combat equipment and valuable artifacts, but it did not match this wealth. Luok's holy water is an extremely rare and valuable treasure, far surpassing any wealth Luofeng had ever possessed. Babata explained that Luoke holy water was named after the legendary creature Luoqi, who discovered it in ancient times. This liquid possesses extraordinary life energy, capable of accelerating the growth and healing of plant life forms and even aiding in breakthroughs to the immortal realm. Pan Shi, without Luofeng's knowledge, had used a small portion of the Luok holy water to nurture his plants, the Sha Luo flower and cloud metal vine, until they reached the 9th level of the World Master rank. He had hidden it very well. Even the Virtual Universe company was unaware of it. Luofeng was overjoyed by this unexpected discovery. He realized how lucky he was to have found such a valuable treasure. With this abundant wealth, he could further strengthen his power. He immediately moved the cloud contact vine into the mini-world, hoping that Luok's holy water would help him reach the immortal level. This discovery marked a new chapter in Luofeng's journey, bringing new hope and unimaginable strength. Amidst his joy, he received a new message, possibly related to the completion of a high-level mission, signaling a new adventure awaiting him. Luofeng patiently awaited the results of his previous highest-level mission, recalling the extreme slaughter he had carried out in the Fire Phoenix organization's Level 1 mission. 5 days later, he received a letter from the Virtual Universe company. Mission Level 1, results: 82% completion, earning 82,000 points, and unlocking access to Level 2. The evaluation noted the slaughter of over 1 million people, highlighting Luofeng's bloodthirsty nature, but praised his calmness and precise decision-making during the killings. Despite the brutality, his calculated decisions resulted in a high score. Luofeng accepted it with joy and vowed not to change his methods in the next mission. Soon, he received a Level 2 mission. This time, the mission was connected to the Blood Devil King in the Gulun royal realm. It was known that the Blood Devil King was a lone wolf who was antisocial, even refusing to join any of the 5 big organizations in the universe. Not only that, he possesses power at the Immortal King level and holds authority over the Du Tuo starfield, making him an important member of the Hongmeng Alliance, a mysterious organization even Luofeng knows nothing about. Finding this information intriguing, Luofeng recalled a conversation between 2 World Master warriors on Devil Record Mountain, mentioning Hongmeng and its connection to a highly valuable inheritance slot. The mission involves the Blood Devil Trials, a cruel selection process held in the Duotuo star field, which has 2 planets named Mengya and Weili. Between these 2 planets, a test will be held simultaneously. Mengya with 1 million star-level participants, and Weili with 10 billion star traveler-level participants. Participants will kill each other until only 10 star levels and 100 star travelers remain. Luofeng only had enough time to save 1 planet. He had to choose between saving 1 million star-level people or 10 billion star traveler-level people, with the mission completion rate determining access to the 3rd level. Information about the Hongmeng Alliance was extremely limited, adding to the mystery and challenges of this mission. Luofeng, faced with a difficult choice, must decide the fate of billions of lives. This decision will test not only his abilities, but also his morality, which has been questioned in previous mission evaluations. Luofeng now faces a difficult choice: save 1 million star-level warriors or 10 billion star travelers in the face of the deadly trials of the Blood Devil King. The journey to the Weili galaxy, where the trials will take place, is time-consuming and requires teleportation through the godlike realm of Dylan. Time is of the essence, with only a month remaining before the trials begin. Babata analyzed the options. Choosing 1 million star warriors demonstrated strength and arrogance, while selecting 10 billion star travelers reflected kindness and empathy. Luofeng, remembering his past and his family, chose to save the 10 billion star travelers, even though their chances of survival were slim. This decision showed Luofeng's concern for ordinary human life, not just for the strong. Virtual Universe Company, which had meticulously planned everything, placed Dylan and his teleportation markers at strategic locations to assist Luofeng. They understood that this training, though brutal, was essential for strengthening humanity. The journey to the Weili Galaxy took 26 days. During the trip, Luofeng and Dylan discussed the strategy of the Virtual Universe Company and Luofeng's choices. Dylan revealed that the Virtual Universe Company had already planned the teleportation marker locations in advance, demonstrating meticulous planning and attention to the training of all human warriors. Luofeng had no objections to this strategy, understanding that the Virtual Universe Company always prioritized the safety and progress of humanity. He also reflected on the value of ordinary human life, which he believed was just as precious as that of the elite member of his organization. Upon arriving at the Yellow Planet, where the trials would take place, Luofeng and Babata observed the arrival of 10 billion star travelers. They came in large ships, filled with frightened and desperate individuals. Luofeng witnessed the despair and hope of the ordinary star travelers, remembering the suffering of his comrades on Earth. He understood that although their chances of survival were slim, every life was precious. These trials, though brutal, were a true test of their strength and resolve. Luofeng waited, ready to face whatever came next. On the other side, on the barren Yellow Planet, 10 billion star travelers have gathered, waiting for the deadly trials to begin. They come from diverse backgrounds, some with combat training, while others are ordinary warriors. Their stories vary, but what unites them is the fear and hope they carry. A glimpse into the story of a young man and his younger sister illustrates the desperation and family bonds amidst the looming threat of death. They have only a small hope of surviving, relying on luck and their limited strength. When the Blood Devil trials began, the survival rate was extremely low, 100 out of 10 billion. Countless star travelers fought for survival, facing powerful enemies in overwhelming numbers. Although some had weapons and training, they still faced very little chance of survival. The battles take place on a barren and icy planet, where every individual fights for survival. Above the planet, a hidden ship observes the battles, witnessing the tragedy and resilience of humanity in the face of death. These trials are not just about physical strength, but also about mental endurance, strategy, and luck. Only those who possess a combination of all three have a chance of surviving. From a distance, Luofeng observed the battle, understanding that these trials were a brutal test, but necessary to strengthen humanity. He had made his choice, and now he could only wait and see the outcome of these decisive trials. The fate of 10 billion star travelers and the future of humanity rested on the results. In a spaceship control room, Luofeng and Dylan watched as millions of star travelers arrived, forced to participate in the terrifying Blood Devil trials under the control of King Blood Devil. Both of them are concerned because this mass slaughter is occurring across many galaxies, yet it seems the Virtual Universe Company is doing nothing. Dylan explains that intervention only occurs if the number of casualties reaches a critical threshold, calculated per planet, not overall. The number of casualties in the Blood Devil trials, though large, is still below that threshold. King Blood Devil, controlling billions of planets, uses these trials to select elites who become Blood Devil warriors, thereby strengthening his power. This system creates a solid power hierarchy, where the elite warriors under his control become tools for King Blood Devil. Luofeng realized that while this method is brutal, it is highly effective in creating a loyal and powerful army. He questioned whether the King Blood Devil fears a rebellion from these elites in the future. Dylan responded that the system is designed in such a way that even if they hate the King Blood Devil, they remain bound and unable to rebel. While Luofeng and Dylan waited for their meeting with La Pater, a high-ranking world master involved in the Blood Devil trials, they witnessed the arrival of La Pater and his entourage. La Pater, a level 9 world master, oversaw the trials and ensured that only 100 people survived out of 10 billion participants, emphasizing the importance of killing and survival skills, not just luck. On the mineral planet where the trials were taking place, immense psychological pressure weighed heavily on the star travelers awaiting the start of the massacre. Fear and despair filled the air. A young man and a girl devised a strategy to survive. La Pétère, with sadistic glee, watches the despair of the participants. After all the participants have gathered, La Pétère orders the start of the Blood Devil trials. However, before the massacre begins, Luofeng and Dylan arrive, quickly using their powers to save all the star travelers and move them to a safe location. Their actions enrage La Pétère, who attacks them. The conclusion of Luofeng's Level 2 mission highlights the conflict between brutal forces and the effort to save many lives. King Blood Devil created a cruel yet effective system to strengthen his power, while Luofeng and Dylan strive to stop the massacre. The Blood Devil trials serve as a metaphor for exploitation and oppression, where the weak are forced to kill one another for the benefit of a ruthless ruler. Luofeng and Dylan represent the hope of fighting against injustice and saving those who are oppressed. So, what happens next? Let's wait for next week's spoiler, guys. Alright, thank you for watching until the end, and don't forget to support this channel with likes, subscribe, and comments. That's all from me. Bye.
你懂什么？执法果断，未烂本心，只有对真实的求知渴望，才能做。看来公司高层对我……你放出他们的钱呢？你的表现颇有争议，那我就来看看你的潜能如何。还想逃？